ఈరోజు మనం ఆర్బీఐ అసిస్టెంట్ మెయిన్స్ క్వాంట్ సెక్షన్ పేపర్ ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ ఒకసారి చూద్దాం. నేను ఎగ్జామ్ స్టార్ట్ చేసే ముందు ఇందులో మనకి డిఐ సెట్ కానీ సింప్లిఫికేషన్ సెట్ కానీ అప్రాక్సిమేషన్ సెట్ కానీ చెక్ చేసుకుంటాను. సో డిఐ ఎలాగో ఖచ్చితంగా ఉంటుంది. నవ్ ఐ స్టార్ట్ మై పేపర్ విత్ అప్రాక్సిమేషన్ సెట్. ఓకే, నవ్ దిస్ is 28th question, which is x% of 4199.99 divided by 6.87 equals to 876.22 minus 6.34. Okay, so this is 4200 divided by 7 will be 600. Now x% out of 600 will be 6x. So 6x equals to 877x minus 6, which is 870. Now my x will be 616, 27, 6 4s 24, 330, 6 5s 30. So 145. 145 is my answer. Moving on to the next one. 1041 plus x divided by 3 will be equal to 1816 divided by 4. Now for 416 to 21, 4 is 20, 116. For 416, send the 3 to the other side. This will be 12, 1, 16, 1, 13, 1362. Now my value of x will be equal to 1362 minus 1041. Now this will be equal to 321, 321, right? Now the next one, 16 to the power of 1 by 4, which is 2, plus 3 cube, which is 9, minus 112 into 2 will be 224, plus 10 square will be equal to 100. Now this is 3 cube, right, which is 27. So 2 plus 27, 29. 29 plus 100, 129. 129 and 124 difference, 95 minus 95, right? Next one. So this is 850 into 11 by 16 into 441 divided by 21 into, see, I'm changing the symbol here. I'm changing for a division into multiplication. So I will reverse the order of both my numerator and denominator. So this will be equal to 320 by 17. Now 17 5s 85, 50, 16 2s 32, 20, 21, 21, so 441. Now 50 into 20 will be equal to 1000. So I'll end my answer with 3 zeros, and 12 into 11 will be 231. So 231000, right? Now the next one, 600% of 586 plus 640% of 635 minus 3286. Now this will be 6 into 586, which is 36, 3, 48, 51, 35, 3516 plus 0, 0 gets cancelled, 5 2s, 5 1s, 2s 10, 7s, 2 32s. Now 32 into 127, I can write it as 30 into 127 plus 2 into 127, right? Now 30 into 127 will be 7's 21, 2, 3 to 6, 6 plus 2, 8, 3 1's 3, so this is 3810 plus 2 into 127 will be 254, 4, 6, 10, 1, 4. So this is 4064. 4064 minus 3286. Now I'll simply add these two values and will subtract 3286 out of it. So this would be, or else I'll do one thing. 3516 and 3286, the difference would be 24, 24, 316 and 14. So this will be equal to 330. Adding 330 to 4064, this will be 6, 9, 3, 4, 4390, which is equal to 4300. 4300. Now Moving on to the next question. Now, these are all my single attempts. Now, simple interest earned on a sum of x plus 500 after 6 years will be 54% more than the simple interest on sum x after 5 years at same rate of interest. Find the value of x. Okay. Now, what is the formula to calculate SI, which is SI equals to PTR by 100, right? Now, the rate of interest is same. 100 is anyway constant. That means both my simple interest and the product of principal and time will be proportional, right? So I can write it as SA1 and SI2 equals to P1 T1 by P2 T2, right? Now, what is simple interest? This is 44% more, right? So this will be 144 by 100, which is equal to principal x plus 500 into time is 6 years by x for 5 years, right? Now, on cross multiplication, this is 20s, this is 24, right? Now, two tens and two twelves again, two six and two fives. So this will be 5x plus 2500 should be equal to 6x. So my x will be equal to 2500. My x will be equal to 2500. Now moving on to the next one. Three pipes D, E and F can fill a tank in 20, 24 and 12 hours respectively. Okay. So this is D, 20, E, 24 and F, 12. If they opened on alternative hours, okay, I'll find the LCM first. So the LCM would be equal to the highest number is 24. Now I'll just simply double it in order to check the LCM of 20, 24 and 12, or else I can simply, since I have a 0 here, this should be equal to 24 into 5, right? Yes or no? Which is equal to 120. So 24 into 5 is 120, 20 into 6 is 120, so 12 into 10 is 120. Okay, now I'll read the remaining question. See, I'll consider my LCM here as my total work, which is 120, right? Now, they opened on alternate hours, starting with P. Okay, I'll start with D, and there are three members D and F, so it will be 3 hours. For 3 hours, 6 plus 5, 10, 6 plus 5, 11, 11 plus 10. 21 units of work will be completed for the first 3 hours. Okay, now I'll repeat the same for 5 more sets. Why? Because if I do it for 6 times, it will be more than 120, right? My total work here is just 120. So I cannot cross 120. So I'm just simply multiplying it with 5. So for 15 hours, this would be 105 units of work has been completed. So I'll be left with 15 and I'll start with D again. So in the 16th hour, 6 more units of work will be completed, which is 111. And in the 17th hour, 5 more units of work will be completed, which is 116. And in the 18th hour, see, I need not have my 18th hour completely, right? Why? Because only 4 units of work is being completed and F has to work now. So 4 out of 10, which is zero point 0.4. So zero point 0.4 is nothing but 24 minutes. So 17 hours plus 24 minutes. 17 hours plus 24 minutes, right? Now, the next one. So volume of a cone here is 392 centimeter cube. Okay, what is the formula to calculate the volume here? Volume is 1 by 3 pi r square h. Now, you're given the radius, no, it's diameter and height ratio as 7 is to 12. Okay, ratio between diameter and height is 7 is to 12. Now, what I'll simply do is I'll calculate the ratio of radius and height, which will be equal to 7 is to 24, right? Now you're asked to calculate the curved surface area, which is calculated using the formula pi r L. Now I need the value of L in order to calculate my curved surface area. So what is L here? L. L is nothing but my slant height, which is equal to r square plus h square, right? That means these form a triplet. Now, if 7 and 24 are two sides of a right angle triangle, the third will be 25. The third will be 25. So my slant height will be 25 and my R would be 7. Okay, let it be 7 parts and 25 parts. Now, whatever the value of x might be, my answer should be a 7 and 25 multiple, right? Yes or no? See, my radius will be 7x and my slant height would be 25x. And if I multiply both the values with pi, I'll get my curved surface area. So there should be a 7 and 25 in my answer. Checking with 7 multiples, this is not a 7 multiple. This is a 7 multiple. This is a 7 multiple again. This is a 7 multiple again. And this is also 7 multiple. So I do have so many options, but trust me, 25 multiples are only one, right? So these three are not my answers. So 175 is my answer. 175 is my answer. Or if you want to do it in a formula based method, then simply calculate the volume, substitute the value of R as 7x and H as 12x. So you'll find the value of x there, get the value of R, H, and find the value of slant height, which is root of R square plus H square. You'll get the value of L. Now you know the value of radius and slant height, just substitute in a formula pi R L. You'll get the answer. Okay, now I'll continue with my single attempts now. Then I'll solve my DI questions. So, okay. Now this is my first question. No, this is my first question. Okay. So ratio between 40% of A plus 40 and 1.6 of B is 5 is to 6. If the difference between A and B is twice of B, then find the value of 1.3 A plus 2.4 B. Value of A is greater than B. Now, difference between A and B is twice of B. Since A is greater than B, A minus B equals to 2B. That means the value of A is 3B, right? The value of A is 3B. What I'll do is you're required to calculate the value of 1.3a plus 2.4b, right? In the place of a, I'll just simply substitute the value of 3b. So 1.3 into 3, this would be 3.9b plus 2.4b. So what is this? 63b, 6.3b, right? Now, whatever the value of b might be, I need to simply multiply it with 63, right? 63 in the sense 7 and 9. So my answer should be a 7 multiple and 9 multiple as well. Now I'll check the options for 9 now. 7, 5, 12, 12, 6, 18. This might be the answer. 7, 4, 11, 4, 15. This cannot be a 9 multiple. 8, 7, 15, 21. No. 8, 3, 11, 16. 10, 6, 16. So only one option I do have, and that's my answer. 7, 5, 6. Right? Now, moving on to the next one. 8 years ago, the ratio of A is to 1 is 5 is to 1. After 10 years, the sum of age of A, B, and C will be 1 to 0 2 years. Ratio of present ages of B and C is to 1. Find the present age of A. Okay. Now, whenever I come across these questions, these sort of questions, I'll simply check with the ratios now. 8 years ago, the ratio of A is 5 parts, right? According to the question. And these are the present ages of A. That means if I subtract out of 8 from all these options, my answer should be a 5 multiple, right? Now 44 minus 8, not a 5 multiple, not a 5 multiple. This is a 5 multiple, not a 5 multiple, not a 5 multiple. So 48 is my answer. Straight away, 48 is my answer. Clear? Now, moving on to the next one. The cost price of article B is 40% more than the cost price of article A. So the cost price of article A is 100. The cost price of article B would be 140. Now, if article A is sold at rupees 351, there is X% profit. And if it is sold at for rupees 312, that means 39 rupees has been decreased. Then my profit would be decreased by 15%. So if 15% is 39, what would be the value of 100%? That is 39 into 100 by 15. Now, you're asked to calculate the selling price if it is sold at 25% loss. Okay. This is the cost price of A. Now, from this, I'll calculate the cost price of B, which is 140 by 100. Now, from this, I will find the selling price, which is 75 by 100. 100 gets cancelled. 15 fives, 5 twenties. So, this is 7. Now, 7 into 39, 63. My answer would end with 3. So, 273 is my answer. 273 is my answer. Now, moving on to the next one. Ratio of work done by X men and X minus 3 men is 5 is to 8. Find X plus 6 men can finish what fraction of work in 3 days. Okay. Now, if this is work done, if my number of persons is getting reduced, definitely my work should decrease, right? Right? Now, let us consider this as time. If X men can do a piece of work in 5 days, X minus 3 men can do it in 8 days, then the LCM would be 140, sorry, 40, which is my total work. Now, 5 eights and 8 fives. If 3 members are getting reduced, my 3 units of work is being decreased. That means for one person, it will be 1 unit. So, X plus 6, it would be X plus 6. This could be equal to X is 8 and adding 6 more here, this would be equal to 14. Now 14 for 3 days, that would be 42. So my total work is 40 and 42 is not possible, right? Right? I guess there was a small glitch in this question. Let me check and update you back. Okay. Now, moving forward, B invests rupees 14,000, 4,000 more than A. Now, let the investment of A be X, then B be X plus 4,000. Now, after 8 months, B left into 8, right? And C joined the business with thrice the investment of A, which is 3x, for the remaining 4 months. Now, if the end of the year, so this will be into 12, the profit share of B was 2/5. Okay, that means 2 parts out of 5 parts. So you'll be left with 3 more parts, which are equally shared to both A and C. Why? Because investment of A is 12x and the investments of C is also 12x. That means the remaining 3 parts has to be shared between A and C equally, 1.5 and 1.5. Okay. Now, what were you asked to calculate? Find the investment of C. Okay. Investment of C is 3x, right? 3x. Now, definitely it should be 3 multiple. 7, 1, 8 to 10, not a 3 multiple. 8,000, not a 3 multiple. 6, 5, 11, not a 3 multiple. 5, 5, 10, 1, 11, not a 3 multiple. So 12,000 is straight away my answer. Okay, done. Now, a train of 480 meters long crosses a platform of half of its length. 480 and half of its length would be adding 240 again. This would be equal to 720. Now, from my formula, speed equals to distance by time. My distance is 720 by time is 36 seconds. So this is 20 meter per second. Now, in what time will it cross a platform which is twice of its length? Now, twice of its length in the sense, twice of its length in the sense, train length is already 480, adding 2 more parts of 480. That would be 3 into 480, right? So the total distance now would be 3 into 480. And you're asked to calculate the time. So time would be equal to distance by speed, and the distance is 75% of the earlier speed. Now my earlier speed is 20, 3/4 of it would be 15. 15. So 3 ones, 3 fives, This is 96. Now 96 seconds is nothing but 1 minute 36 seconds. Moving on to the next one. There is a mixture of milk and water in a container in a certain ratio of 18 liters of water is added to the mixture, then the quantity of water becomes 60% of the quantity of milk. Okay, let the milk be 100%, then the water be equal to 60%. This is after adding 18 liters to my mixture. So after adding 18 liters, they will be in the ratio of 5 is to 3, right? Now we are asked to calculate the initial quantity of the mixture. So if I add 18 to my initial quantity, definitely it should be 8 multiple. So 178 plus 18, this is 196, right? Now, is it an 8 multiple? Yes, it is an 8 multiple. This might be the answer. Now, what about 108? 108 plus 18 is 126. Now, 126 by 8. This is not an 8 multiple. 165 plus 18, it will end up with 3, which is not an 8 multiple. 188 plus 18. 188 plus 18. This is 216. Now, this is also an 8 multiple, right? 188. Okay, 224 plus 18. 224 plus 18. Now, this is not an 8 multiple. Now, what about this? 178 plus 18, 196. This is not an 8 multiple, right? 178. So definitely straight away 198 is my answer. 198 is my answer. Clear? Okay. Now income of A and B are in the ratio of 2 is to 3. So A and B, 2x, 3x. Ratio of the amount paid, bill paid were in the ratio of 1 is to 2 respectively. Both spends 10% of their incomes on purchasing the goods, groceries. So 10% is nothing but 0.2x of A and 0.3x of B. Now, difference between the remaining amount is 8,000. If the bill amount paid by A is 25% of its income, so 25% of its income, which is 0.5, right? So now the bill amount paid by A is 0.5x, and it was clearly mentioned in the question that the ratio of bill amounts paid by A and B are in the ratio of 1 is to 2. So if it is 0.5x, definitely it would be 1x. Now, what is the remaining amount? This is 0.7 to 1.3x. This is 1.33, 1.7x. Now, difference between both the amounts, this is 0.4x, right? Is 8,000. 0.4x is 8,000. Now, what were you asked to calculate? Bill amount paid, which is 1x, right? Which is 1x. Now, what would be 1x now? 1x is nothing but 20,000, right? 20,000. Now, 4 into 2 lakh would be, sorry, 20,000 would be 8,000. So 1 into 20,000 would be 20,000. Straight away, 20,000 is my answer. Okay. Or else you can straight away check 4 to 8, right? So 1 into 2 would be 2. So 2,000 is my answer. Only 2 will be there in my answer. No more numericals will be added. Okay. Now, a boat takes 20 hours to travel downstream in river A. Okay. This is river A and this is river B. Now it takes 20 hours to travel downstream in river A and it takes 21 hours in river B, traveling the same distance. So distance is same. Now if speed of current in A is 50% more than river B, okay. Now and the speed of the boat is 18 kilometers per hour for river A and for river B. The speed of the boat remains the same, which is 18 kilometers per hour, and the speed of the stream B, X in river B. So downstream would be 18 plus X. Now, if the speed of the stream in river B is X, then it would be 50% more, which is 1.5x. So this is 18 plus 1.5x. Downstream speed of river A, 18 plus 1.4x. Now, from the formula, speed equals to distance by time. My distance would be speed into time. So the first distance would be speed, that is 18 plus 1.5x into time is 20 hours. And my second distance would be equal to 18 plus x into 21 hours. And both the distance are equal. So d1 equals to d2. That means 18 plus 1.5x into 20 would be equal to 18 plus x into 21. Now quickly solve this. This is 20 into 18 plus 20 into 1.5. 30, right? 30x equals to, this is 21 into 18 plus 21x. So 31 minus 21 would be 9x. Now out of 21 18s, I am subtracting 20 18s. So you'll be left with 118. So the value of x is 2. Now what were you asked to calculate? The speed of stream in river A. So river A would be 1.5x, which is 1.5 into 2, 3 kilometers per hour. 3 kilometers per hour. Now, a bag contains 4 red, 7 green, and 3 pink balls. One ball is chosen randomly from the bag. So out of 7 plus 4, 11 plus 3, 14. I have to choose a ball from the bag. Now the probability of choosing either red ball or pink ball. So red is 4 and pink is 3. So total number of favorable outcomes will be 7, which is equal to 1 by 2, which is equal to 1 by 2. Now, moving on to the first D I said, this is the graph that shows the savings of four persons ABCD in the year 2000 and 2005. Okay, so this is savings in the year 2000 and 2005 for persons A, B, C, and D. Right? Now, we'll write for the year 2000 here. For 2008 it is 30%, 30%. For B it is 36. For C it is 24. And for D it is 50%. And for A in 2005 it is 48, 22, 12, and the last one is 40%. Now see, extracting the data out of my DA has to be done in a very proper way. Okay. Now, if see, this is the first question, right? Okay, if income of B in the year 2005 and 2005 are same, see, if incomes are same, then definitely I can directly compare the savings and expenditures, right? Okay. Now the difference between both the savings, 36 and 22, the savings would be 14, is approximately what percent of the expenses of B in the year 2000. So if the savings are 36%, definitely my expense would be 64%. So 40 by 64 into 100, 4 sixteens and 4 25s, 2 eights and 2 sevens. Okay, this is 8 threes 24 point. So 7 threes 21. So 21 point something, which is approximately equal to 22. Approximately equal to 22. Now, annual income of D in the year 2005 is 2 lakh more than the annual income of the E 2000. Okay, so he's talking about D, right? We'll first write the values of D, which is 50 and 40. 50 and 40. This is for 2000 and this is for 2005. And these are my savings of D. Now, what he's telling, annual income of D in the year 2005 is 2 lakh more than that in the year 2000. His expense in the year 2000 is equal to savings of 2005. Okay. Now, what is his income in the year 2005? What is his expense in 2000? 50%, right? Half of T, right? This is equal to savings of the year 2005. Savings of the year 2005. What about savings? 40%, right? Which is 2 by 5 of T2, right? Now, this would be equal to D1 by D2 equals to 2, 4 by 5, right? 4 by 5. Now, what were you asked to calculate? If the difference between both the incomes is 2 lakhs, right? So, one part is 2 lakhs. Now, you're asked to calculate the income of the year 2000, which is 4 parts. So, 4 into 2, 8 lakhs. 4 into 2, 8 lakhs. Clear? Now, in the year 2000, annual expenses of B and annual expenses of C are same. What is the ratio of annual income of C and B in the year 2000? Okay, both my expenses are same. That means, what are the values of B and C in 2000? 36 and 24, right? 36 and 24, these are my savings. So my expenditures would be 64 here. So this would be 76, right? So 64 of B is equal to 76 of C. You're asked to calculate 4 sixteenths and 4 19ths. You're asked to calculate the ratio of C and B. The ratio of C and would be equal to 16 is to 19. 16 is to 19. Now, average income of, monthly income of C in the year 2000 is 50% more than the monthly savings in the year 2005. If his monthly income in the year 2000 is 9,000, then find the annual income in the year 2005. Okay. Monthly savings of C in the year 2000 is 50% more than the monthly income of year of 2005. Okay. Now, what about the values of C in 2000 and 2005? 24 and 12, right? 24 and 12. These are the savings for the year 2000 and 2005. Now, what I'll do here is I'll just simply compare the values here. Okay. Monthly income of, monthly savings of C in the year is 50% more than the monthly savings of a year in the year 2005. Okay. Now, what is monthly income of year 2000 is 9,000, right? So savings would be 24%, which is 24 into 90, right? This is 24 into 90. Now, this is equal to 50% more, that is 1.5 of monthly savings in the year 2005, which is 12%. 12% of X, right? Now quickly calculate this. This is 15,690. 1.5 in the sense 60. This is 12 to 24. So 2 into 6 would be 12. Now this is the monthly income. Monthly income, this is 12%, right? 12%. This is monthly income. 2 into 6 is 12. Now I want the annual income. Then it would be 12 into 12, 1.44 lakh. See, if you solve this, that would be equal to 12,000, which is the monthly income of X. C in the year 2005, which is the value of X. Now you're asked to calculate the annual income, which would be 12 into 12, 1.44 lakh. Okay. Now, if the annual income of B in year 2000 is 4 lakh and the annual income of C in year 2005 is 3.50 lakh, find the ratio of the expenditure of C to expenditure of B. Okay. Now, what is the expenditure of B in 2000? Expenditure of B in 2000. 64, right? 64. So 64, anyway, percentage will be on the both sides. Anyway, they will get cancelled. So I'm not dotting it. So 64 into 4 lakh equals to what would be the expenditure of C in 2005? Expenditure of C in 2005, 12, right? 88% of 3.5 lakhs. This is fine, right? Okay. Now you're asked to find the ratio of C is to B, right? C is to B. Okay. Then this has to be written in the reverse order. So I'll simply reverse after finding the ratio, right? Now my answer would be, quickly cancel this, 4 16s and 4 22s. So this is 2 11s and 2 8s. Now 3.5 is nothing but 35 by 10, right? 35 by 10, which is 7 by 2. So 7 by 2. See, I'll write it in a proper way. 3.5 into 88 is to 64 into 4. This is what you're asked to calculate, and this is nothing but 35 by 10, which is 7 by 2, right? Now, 2 into 4 is 8, and 8 11s, 88, right? So 77 is to 64 is my answer. 77 is to 64 is my answer. Okay. Now, moving on to the next DI set. What is the second DI set? Okay. This is my second DI set. Out of 6,000 students in a college X, 20% of the total students have majored in physics only. Okay. So physics. There is one more subject, mathematics, and there is one more subject, chemistry. So physics, chemistry, mathematics. Now I'll quickly pull all the data out of this. So 20% of the students are majored in physics only. So out of 6,000, my 20,000 will be 1,200, right? 10% is 600, so 20% would be 1,200. Now what about chemistry? 12%, 12 6 is 72, which is 720. 20% has been majored in both chemistry and mathematics. So both chemistry and mathematics at 1,200 again, right? 5% of the students have majored in all the three subjects together. So 10% is 600, 5% would be 300, right? Now, what else it has given? While 45% of the students have majored in only two subjects. So only two subjects, 45% have been majored. And in chemistry, 45% of the students have majored. Okay. So if I'm talking about chemistry, already I have 720, which is 12% here. This is 12%. This is 20%. So which is 32, right? And this is 5%, 37. So out of 45, 37 has been completed. So you'll be left with the 8%, right? Now 8, 6, so 48. This will be 480, right? Now, if I talk about the percentage of students who majored in only two subjects, again 45. So only two subjects will be these three, right? This is 8% and this is 28. So 20, 28, 45. You'll be left with 17, right? So 17, 6. This would be 100, 1020, 1020. So all the values have been written over here. So you're left with only mathematics, right? Now add all these things and subtract it out of 6,000. My total value is 6,000, right? Subtract out of it. So 1,200 plus 1,200, 2,400. 2400 plus 1500, 3900. So this is 4200, 4200, 5920. So 5920. This would be equal to 1080. So only mathematics we have 1080. Now I have all the data that is required to answer my questions, right? Now let us quickly answer the questions. How many students have majored in only one subject? This is 720 plus 1080. This is 720 plus 1080 plus 1200. 3000, right? 3000. Good. Now, how many students have majored in mathematics as a subject? As a mathematics as a subject, that means all the mathematics is asking. Now, this is 1080, 1020, 21, 21 plus 1200, 33. So, plus 300, 3300, right? 3300. Now, what is the total number of students who have majored in only two subjects? Only two subjects is nothing but 45%, right? 45%, which was directly given in the question. So 45% of 6,000. So double zero double zero gets cancelled, which is 45 into 6. 45 into 6. 6 5 is 33, 6 4 is 24, 27. 2700. 2700. Now, students who have majored in both mathematics and physics only are what percent of the total students who has majored in physics? So, mathematics and physics only, right? So, mathematics and physics only. This is 1020. 1020. 1020 is what percent of the total students who has majored in physics? Now, what about the students who majored in physics? 1200, 480, 1680 plus 27, 27 plus 3, 3000, 3000 into 100. Double zero gets cancelled. 00. This is 33 is 9134 is 34%. 34%. Now find the ratio of the students who have majored in physics, which is 3000. Just now we have calculated to the students who have majored in all the three subjects. That is 5% of 6000, which is 300. Now this is 10 is to 1, right? 10 is to 1, right? Okay, fine. Moving to the last data set, the table given below shows the data regarding four different articles sold by two different shops A and B. Study the data carefully and answer the questions that follow. Okay, so the cost price of different articles has been given with respect to store A and store B. The selling prices has been also provided indirectly. See, if I add 23% to my cost price, it would be selling price of article 1 for selling price of article 1 for store A, right? Right? So in that way, indirect data has been provided. We'll try to solve the questions directly. Average selling price of article 2 for store A, store B, store C is 441. So A plus B plus C is average is 441. So total would be 3, 12, 1, 1323. Now the average cost price, if the cost price of article 2 for store C is also same as the cost price of store A and store B for article 2. What is the cost price? 420, right? Okay, 420, right? So then find the loss percentage of store C. Okay, we'll find the selling price first. We know the selling prices of A and B, right? Which is which is so article A is sold at 20% profit. So 420, 10% would be 42, 20% would be 84. If I add 84 to 420, this will be 504, right? 504. So this is 504 and 35%. So 35%, this will be 420 plus 147. So this will be 567. Now, if I add both these values, my 504 and 567, this would be 1071, and the difference would be 252, which is the selling price of C, right? Now, if the cost price is 420 and the selling price is 250, definitely my profit would be, sorry, my loss would be 148, right? 148. Yes or no? See, let me do this. One sec. See, you has been clearly instructed that the selling price of, sorry, the cost price of Article 2 is also same as Article 2 for store and store B, which is 420. So the cost price of Article 2 for store C is also 420. And your selling price is 252. So there is a definite loss, right? So what is the loss now? It is 48 plus 120, which is 168 is the loss out of 420 into 100. This is the loss percentage. 2020 gets cancelled. This is 42 fours, right? So 4 into 10, 40%. 4 into 10, 40%. Now, if the market price of Article 1 for store A and store B is 64% and 42% above its cost price. Now, what is cost price of Article 1? 200, right? Okay. For 100, if 64% is 64, then for 200%, this would be 128, right? So this is 328. Yes or no? For Article 1, the cost price is 200, so it is 64% more. For 100, 64% is 64. For 200, it would be 128. So 200 plus 128 would be 328. And this is 42%, which is 84. So 284. Okay. Now, what about the selling prices? Article 1 for storage 23%, 223, 46. So this would be 246. And what about 284? This is 13.6, which is 27.2. So 227.2. Now calculate the difference, which is my discount, and the difference between and discount 1 and discount 2 is my answer. So point 2 is there. Definitely my answer should end with the point 8, right? So only one option is there. So 27.8 is my answer. Okay. Now moving on to the next one. Cost price of Article 5 is 25% more than Article 4. Now, what is Article 4? 320. So, one fourth of it would be 80. So, 25%, that means 80, which is 400. If the ratio of selling price of Article 5 sold by store B and selling price of Article 4 by the same store. Okay. So, Article 4 for store B, what is the selling price? 20% profit, right? So 10% would be 32, 20% would be 64. So it is 384. Now, according to the ratio, it is 16 parts. Now, 16 parts is 384. What would be the value of 21 parts? So 16 2 is 32, 6 is 16 4 64. So 21 parts would be 21 into 24. So this is 480 plus 24, which is 504, right? See, my cost price is 400 and my selling price is 504. Definitely my profit would be 104 out of 400 into 100, which is 4. 4 2s 8, 24, 4 6 24. So my answer is 26%. Now, selling price of Article 3 sold by store A is approximately what percent of more than Article? Okay, fine. See, what is the selling price of Article 3? He is comparing Article 3 cost price of store A and store B, right? Which is constant. For Article 3, the cost price is 480. And out of 480, he is comparing this 24 and 5, which is approximately equal to. Approximately is asking, right? Approximately equal to 19, which is 18. Clear? He is comparing here the same quantity. He is comparing the profit ratios on the same quantity, on the same cost price. Okay. Now the last one. What is the ratio between the cost price of article 2 for store A? Cost price 2 for store A. 420, right? So 420 is to selling price of art will be. Now hold on. My ratio starts with 420. Now none of my options have a multiple of 420, right? None of my numbers divide my 420. Exactly. So none of this is my answer. None of this is my answer. Now moving on to the last set, that is data sufficiency. Now train A 180 meters long overtakes another train B in 20 seconds. So find the value of X. Okay, you're asked to calculate the length of train B, right? Now, train B starts from station R at 9 a.m. and reaches 360 kilometers without any stoppage. Okay, from this we can easily calculate the speed of train B. Now, train A crosses a platform of 240 meters long in 8.4 seconds. Okay, this will give me the speed of train B, right? So if I get both my values, it is easy for me to calculate the length of train B, which is x. So both the statements together are necessary to answer my question. Moving on to the next one. Find the annual income of Anuja. Anuja deposited rupees 10,000 per month in her PF account. Ratio of PF and expenses were 2 is to 3. The rest part of her income she saved with her. Her monthly savings is rupees 8,000. Now, see, you're asked to calculate the annual income of Anuja, but I don't know exactly how much she is saving. In the second statement, it was clearly mentioned her savings. So both the statements are required to answer my question. Now, what is the present age of A? Ratio of present ages of A and B is 4 is to 5 after 5 years. Now, this is an incomplete statement. I cannot answer my question, which is the age of A from statement 1. Sum of the present ages of B and C is 5 is 6. C will be thrice the age of A. Okay. Both the statements are required to answer my question. We are using both the statements. I can easily answer this. Now, if A and B are integers, what is the average value of A plus A and B? So, average of A and B is nothing but A plus B by 2, right? So, I can easily get it from the first statement itself, A plus B by 2. So, statement 1 alone is sufficient to answer my question. Now, the last one of this paper, a mixture of plant fertilizers consists of nitrogen, phosphoric acid, and potash. What is the number of grams of potash in the mixture? Okay, by weight, the weight of nitrogen and potash is 2 is to 3. So this is a proper ratio. By weight, the ratio of phosphoric acid to potash is 4 is to 3 and one third of the weight of the mixture of potash. Okay. See, you're asked to calculate a proper number which was not provided for me in any of my statements. In both the statements, only ratio has been provided. No proper number is there. So neither of my statements are sufficient to answer my question. Clear? That's all for the paper explanation of quant section for RBI Assistance paper 1. Thank you.